Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and today we're going to be talking about some interesting news, as we know there are going to be some major buffs and nerfs going into the new collection event next week, but something you might not know is these buffs and nerfs are actually directly tied to Revenant Reborn, and there's a lot of evidence of that. We're going to cover all of that. We're also going to give out 45 bucks. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill. Without further ado, let's talk about what these buffs mean. So by now, unless you've been living under a rock, you should be pretty well aware that Apex Legends' next collection event is coming with some pretty hefty buffs, and some people are pretty split on it. You have people like His Watson actually saying that they think the changes are going to be healthy for the game, but it's too early to tell, and the Seer heal was a really big problem. Alpha Intel basically let us know that there are going to be 3 of his abilities being updated with reduced range, removal of healing and revive cancel, and shorter scan times and more. But what I haven't seen anyone actually put out, and I tweeted about this, is the fact that his ability actually seems to be exactly like Seer's now. It just comes with a scan. When you look at the time, it says silence time increased from 10 seconds was 1.75 seconds, which is a huge increase, and coincidentally happens to be the same duration as Revenant silence. And in case you don't know what the silence is, it doesn't cancel heals or anything. It stops all legends from using their abilities. Just like when you run into the Rev silence, you just can't use it. But what's crazy is Seer can actually still now highlight with a threat outline and his teammates when they have a line of sight. So now he gets a scan on top of the silence, which just puts him in a whole other class. Plus it's a lot easier to fire than Revenant's because it's like the orb thing and people will either run into it or you miss it. Like overall, Seer's is just going to be 1,000 times better. And it seems like a weird nerf to do, but most of us are aware, and it's pretty much confirmed, is that Rev Reborn is in fact coming very, very soon, and the Seer nerf was the first step towards it. We've already seen the Datamine model from Kralrindo and myself that is right here, and it shows a whole new skin. This isn't going to be a mythic or prestige. I mean, I guess it could. It was labeled under mythic. Maybe it could be next season's. We really don't know what the purpose of the skin is, but we do know he is getting a whole new list of abilities. We've seen them, and the most recent one was a slingshot where you fire a sling to quickly change position, which is supposed to be very similar to Vantage's Echo, a force repel where it creates a quick pulse around yourself to repel enemies away, and a 1v1 duel where people hit by your ultimate will be ported into the void for a one-on-one fight. However, that last ability was actually canceled as we went over the other day, and we are also aware of the fact that FaZe also had this ability, which was called FaZe Chamber. It was a little different. It didn't take you into a one-on-one fight, but because of the changes, it does also line up with another leak. I know we are getting tons of them right now about the fact that Fade and Rhapsody are actually being worked on to come into the main game of Apex Legends, and so they're running into this issue, as you can see with the nerfs, where legend abilities are actually overlapping with each other, especially when you consider the fact that some of the newer legends coming in also have those abilities like Fade and Rhapsody. It does seem like Respawn is even teasing it a little bit with the newest skin coming for the collection event. We have Seer, where he actually has his human form hair and almost like a forehead. It's the Caleb Cross version of Revenant, who he was as a human before he turned into, well, you know, Revenant, which does foreshadow a little bit of him being reborn. The big question everyone wants to know is, when is this actually coming? And we've talked about this, but Ashley Reed, the narrative lead for Respawn and the person who writes all the stories, very clearly has said that they are setting something coming up for closer to the middle of the season / end of the season. I was always pretty sure this was going to come around the time of OP Neon, which is the next collection event coming in later July, which should also come with the Watson Town takeover. But what's really interesting is, and no one else has also talked about the second half of her quote, is that they're experimenting with the original programming and coming up with new ways to utilize that content, and we'll be able to see the first results of that later this season. And what she's referring to there is stuff like the Broken Ghost PvE mode, which I'm assuming a lot of players here did not get a chance to try, but it was actually a game mode where you collected the treasure packs and then went into a player versus environment mode with 2 of your friends and fought prowlers while you try to defend certain tools and stuff going on, and it actually led to you finding Ash's skull, which was what they used to set up Ash as a new legend, which makes a ton of sense with setting up lore for Revenant Reborn. Similar to that, you might remember, it was actually the White Raven for Bloodhound, although that didn't really seem to lead into anything. We had to run around World's Edge and find White Ravens, and then we got this weird cutscene at the end. It really wasn't that meaningful or impactful, but the Broken Ghost was a great player versus environment experience, and it seems like because Overwatch is taking so many things from Apex, Apex is doing the same in regards to PvE, as Overwatch 2 is launching a brand new PvE game mode, and it seems like Apex Legends is going to go right side by side with that with their own version for Revenant Reborn, which happens to launch in Season 18 right around the time of Overwatch 2's PvE content on August 10th. Let me know down below, what do you think about Seer becoming the new kind of Revenant, and Revenant being completely reworked into his Reborn abilities? And don't forget to check out this second mystery channel right here, which has some pretty cool and interesting content related to Apex Legends. And until next time, Legends, keep slaying the outlands, and I'll see you out there.